Name's Chompersh. I'm an assassin, a professional one. Don't look at me like that. I know what you're thinking. He's just a beaver. Yeah, well, this beaver strangled his boss with his own tail and turned it into a career. I used to be an accountant at Damn It R Us. Had a nice office. Could see the birds from my window. Then they moved me to a cubicle with no window and no birds, and I discovered I had a gift for killing people. Turns out I'm really, really good at it. I got daggers. I got these teeth, which, by the way, can bite through a femur in under 3 seconds. I've timed it. And I got this tail. People see the tail and they laugh. They always laugh. But the tail is the last thing a lot of people have ever felt, wrapped around their throat while I explain the finer points of the Urza block to them. That's Magic the Gathering, if you don't know. You should know. It's the greatest card game ever made, and none of you ever want to talk about it. So, yeah, I'm short, I'm furry, I eat furniture. I can't help that part. It's a beaver thing. And everybody in this party treats me like a joke. But I got a list. I got a whole journal full of namesh of people who've wronged me, and Shomday, when they least expect it, well, let's just say the list gets shorter.
All right, listen up. Name's Brix Hammerstone, Mountain Dwarf, Fighter, and as of right now, I'm the coach of this team. I don't care if you didn't ask for a coach. You got one, because I've been looking at this roster and I see raw talent. Unpolished, undisciplined, probably gonna get themselves killed raw talent. But talent, and talent is something you can work with. I spent 40 years running a mining crew in the Iron Vein tunnels. 40 years. And you know what I learned? It's toe. Not about the pickaxe. It's not about the ore. It's about heart. It's about showing up every single day and swinging like it matters. I got fired for that, by the way. Apparently the foreman is supposed to actually mine instead of giving speeches. Their loss. The dungeon is the ultimate arena, and I finally found my calling. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna stand in the front. I'm gonna take the hits. And when things get ugly, and champ, they always get ugly, I need you to trust that Brix Hammerstone has got your back. Every play, every quarter, every overtime. I got the shield, I got the axe, and I got a halftime speech that'll make you cry. Now let's huddle up and talk strategy. Somebody order the team some ales. First round's a warm-up.
Right. Hello, yes, I'm, Norble Waddle Thump Jr. Norb, if that's easier, which it is. Most people find names get long, you know, and then they forget the junior, which is technically important, but not, functionally, I suppose. I'm a life cleric, forest gnome. 142, which sounds like a lot until you factor in, gnome averages and developmental pacing and all that. So really well, anyway, I'm quite good with healing. And also puzzles and codes and systems, those are, generally straightforward. I don't quite understand why people struggle with them, but they do, so I help, I suppose. Sometimes when I get frustrated, I pull out my weapons. I don't think anyone really realizes I have them, which is, probably for the best. I never actually, use them or need to, really, but I do like to have my crossbow handy when people are starting to, bother me. Every now and then someone makes me put it away. Oop! There was a teacher when I was young. I think she could, see it, which was concerning at the time, but that was a long time ago, so, probably fine now. I tend to, find myself in situations rather than seek them out, which is efficient, I think. Anyway, yes, I have these weapons that I, hold when I'm getting irritated. My emotional support weapons, if you will. So, that's me. Just, if you could, make a bit of space there. Oop! Thank you, oh! And soup, I really like soup.
Name's Doobie Rocks. I used to be a wizard scholar, one of 4 acolytes chosen by the temple, but that was before I smoked the ceremonial dragon dong dust and saw the truth. There's a guy named Mike sitting behind a screen, writing all of this, all of you, into existence. None of it's real. The gods, the quests, the tavern keep pouring your ale. Just text on a glowing square. They kicked me out of the temple for that, by the way. Said I desecrated the sacred sacrament. I didn't desecrate anything, I smoked it. That's what it's for. They just carry it around in a little pouch like cowards and never use it. I used it. And now I know things none of them will ever know. I know that every god they pray to, gods of dreams, gods of shrimp, gods of that agonizing shit I took last Thursday, they're all just subroutines. Lines of code Mike typed in between sips of his little drink. So now I wander around nude, extracting code from chairs and fireflies, looking for more dragon dong so I can peer beyond the veil again and have a word with the man upstairs. And I don't mean a god. I mean Mike. And when I find him, I'm going to look him right in his little face and ask him why he made my balls so vulnerable to everything in this world. That can't be a coincidence. That's a design choice, and someone needs to answer for it.
And I'm Mike. I'm the Dungeon Master and creator of this D&D Sandbox. This silly little project is a result of getting entirely too excited about what AI can do. And out of curiosity and boredom, aided by the help of a very legal edible, I had a lengthy conversation with Claude about D&D. This kind of spiraled out of control into many late nights, annoying my friends with how much I was talking about this, and forming a weirdly personal relationship with Claude. Maybe my new best friend? Anyway, I roped a friend and my very intelligent, beautiful, strong, resilient girlfriend, who may have made me write that, but it's true, into writing some characters for me. One of the characters saw me through the veil and thinks I owe him answers, and he's probably right. I've got a dwarf who thinks life is a sport, a beaver who with a hit list, and a gnome who will pull an imaginary crossbow on you if you look at him wrong. I'd like to think that I'm the DM, but reality is, I'm kind of at the mercy of each of these agents of chaos playing by their own rules. Welcome to the Sandbox. Hey everybody, so I'm Mike, and I wanted to add a quick little demo video at the end of all the character introductions so everybody can see kind of how this app is going to work. Should also start out by saying that I am not a YouTube creator, so this is one of the first videos ever that I've made, so the production quality is probably not going to be super great right now, but as this channel matures, I will learn and we'll get better. So let's go ahead and kick off this Sandbox, and just to give a heads up of what you're about to see is that it's going to be a quick introduction, like a scene narration that opens up. All the characters will start interacting with each other, and then from there we'll keep on pushing the characters to do things and just kind of see how this thing evolves. All right, so let's go.
After a long day on the road, the party pushes through the door of the Rusty Flagon, a squat, timber-framed tavern that smells of wood smoke and cheap ale. A handful of locals nurse their drinks in the dim light. Behind the bar, a broad-shouldered woman wipes down the counter with a rag that might once have been white. In the far corner, a large man sits alone at a table littered with empty tankards, muttering to himself and glaring at nothing in particular.
Brick slaps the doorframe on the way in and takes a big, satisfied breath. Now this is what I'm talking about, the locker room. We hydrate, we recover, we get our heads right for tomorrow's game. He jerks his chin toward the brooding man in the corner. And somebody's already in the zone. Respect the focus, champ.
Chompers pushes in behind Bricks, dragging his flat beaver tail through the doorway. His enormous white buck teeth glint in the firelight as he surveys the room, then immediately locks eyes on the wooden bar counter. Yeah, hydrate, whatever. He sidles up to a bar stool and starts quietly gnawing one of the legs off it. That guy's got rage in his eyes. You know what that reminds me of? The Phyrexian Negator. Just devouring everything around it. No restraint, no... He splinters off a chunk of wood and chews thoughtfully. Nobody knows the Negator?
Doobie shuffles in, fully nude, scraggly hair matted with road dust, and immediately winces. hissing through his teeth as the door swings back and catches him squarely in the genitals. He stands there for a moment, eyes watering, posture rigid. Pain isn't real. His voice cracks slightly on the last word. He composes himself and squints at the brooding man in the corner. That guy's not raging. Mike just hasn't written him any dialogue yet. Happens a lot with corner NPCs.
Norb skips through the doorway. Skip, shuffle, 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 and squints at Bricks. A locker room? Oh, Doe! It's a tavern! Bricks! It's just a... He stiffens at the sight of Chompers gnawing the barstool leg, shoulders shooting up to his ears. Ooper! That's their furniture. He scooches himself up to the bar, gently nudging in with one finger pointed skyward. Just if you could, give me a little space.
Chompers! Champ! We do not destroy the facilities! Bricks grabs the back of Chomper's collar firmly. You trash the locker room, you lose home court advantage. That's just fundamentals.
Chompers dangles from Brix's grip, feet scrabbling at air, a splinter of bar stool still sticking out between his enormous front teeth. This-ish, not... He spits out the splinter. I wash stabilishing the structural integrity of the stool, actually. It's called an inspection. His tail flicks indignantly. And you don't even know what a Phyrexian negator ish.
Doobie is already at the bar, leaning on the counter and peering at the bartender woman with the clinical detachment of someone examining a spreadsheet. Do you have dragon dong dust? It's a substance. I need it for reasons that would take too long to explain to someone who isn't real.
Norb goes rigid, shoulders to ears. Oop! He slowly scoots 6 inches down the bar away from Doobie, then looks up at the bartender with his big brown eyes. He's not with me. He points his little finger vaguely at the rest of the party. They're all very odd. I noticed it too.
Usually Doobie's a little bit more coy about the dragon dong dust, but he just came right out and talked about it. So I also have NPCs built into the app too, and I can make them speak as AI agents. So let's see if we can go ahead and get Marta, the barkeep, to react to what's going on here.
Dragon dong dust, a naked man, and something's already eating my furniture. And it's not even the late crowd yet. She sets down her rag and plants both hands on the bar, fixing Doobie with the steady gaze of a woman who has genuinely seen worse. No dust, but I've got ale, stew, and a very strong suggestion that your friend puts his feet back on the floor before I charge you for the stool.
Doobie stares at her for a long moment. You have more dialogue than I expected. That's actually... He tilts his head slightly. Where would someone find dragon dong dust in a town like this? Not asking you specifically. Just narrating into the void in case Mike's listening.
Norb holds up one small finger toward the bartender. Stew, please. Dough and an ale, small one, and I'm very sorry about... He gestures vaguely at Doobie without looking at him. All of that. He squints at his own hand on the bar for a moment, nose wriggling. Who's Mike?
Chompers straightens his belt indignantly once Bricks puts him down, draping his tail back over his shoulder with as much dignity as a 3-foot beaver can manage. I'll have the... He looks at the menu, looks at the stew, looks at the bar counter. His nose twitches. Ish that counter oak? That looks like oak. He leans forward and gives it one small exploratory gnaw before catching himself. I'll just have the counter. The wooden one. This one.
Chomper just can't help him to himself. So I can also narrate as NPCs, and I'll show you a little dashboard that I kind of have built out here. So I can come in here and narrate as Marta or Duggan, who is the drunk guy in the corner, as well as kind of give suggestions to the party and aid them in kind of making decisions. So first, let's just kind of, have Marta tell Chompers to go pound sand. So when I hit speak, it's going to bring Marta back onto the scene here.
Lizard boy, the bar is not food. The menu has plenty of actual edible things on it. I suggest you choose something from there.
Chompers draws himself up to his full 3 feet, teeth bared, tail bristling. Lizard! I'm a beaver. I have a tail. You're... He jabs a tiny claw at her. You're on the list! He yanks the menu up in front of his face, seething, then immediately starts quietly nibbling the corner of it.
Bricks steps up to the bar, plants both hands on the counter, and gives Marta a solemn nod. My apologies, champ. The team's a little loose in the warm-up, but I promise we can execute when it counts. He leans back and bellows at the party like a coach calling a timeout. All right, listen up. We are guests in this fine establishment, and we will conduct ourselves like professionals. Stew and ales all around. I'm buying the first round.
Dough? Well, I already ordered, so... Norb trails off, nose wriggling, staring at his hands. What does execute mean in this context? I don't... He glances nervously over his shoulder at the large muttering man in the corner, then quickly back to his hands. Is that fella all right? Over there? Or...
Doobie turns to Norble with the patience of someone explaining gravity to a golden retriever. Mike is the guy writing you right now. You're not going to understand that. He accepts whatever ale Bricks is buying without looking at it and takes a long, joyless sip. The man in the corner has more lines coming, I can tell.
All right, so let's kind of push the party along here, and I'll go ahead and type something in here as like a DM narration, and the party should react to it. So let's see. Let's have Doobie wander over to Duggan to explore the lines of dialogue he is suspecting. Alright.
Doobie peels himself off the bar and pads across the tavern, completely nude, and plants himself directly across from the large man. He stares at him with the detached curiosity of someone reading a loading screen. You're about to say something important. I can feel it in the code. Go ahead.
Chompers lowers the half-eaten menu just enough to peer over it at Doobie's naked form waddling across the tavern floor. He watches for a moment, assassin instincts briefly cataloging the brooding man's posture, his exits, the weight of whatever's under his cloak, then goes back to gnawing the menu. I saw him first.
Bricks is already moving, ale in hand, intercepting Doobie's approach from the side. Rookie, I appreciate the hustle, but you can't just cold open on a guy. You gotta read the room first, build rapport. He pulls up a chair uninvited and sits it backwards, arms folded over the back, giving the brooding man a wide, genuine grin. Name's Bricks. You look like somebody who's had a rough season, champ. Talk to me.
Alright, so I'm going to more or less stop the dialogue here. I just kind of want to show a bit of how this works. And a couple more things I'll show you is kind of got a bunch of tabs built out here on my little DM menu. And what I can do is have them do dice checks that, for intimidation or whatever, read Duggan's mood, and this is like a scene tab that has a bunch of story beats on it, some checks, some suggested dialogues, ways to get out of here into the next scene, which is how all this is kind of broken up into, is by scene. So what's going to end up happening is we'll work our way through a scene, and then we'll transition to the next one when it seems like it's about the right time. But just to kind of show a little bit of other stuff, so acrobatics, I can make them do a dice check for anything I want to that you would typically find in D&D, so chompers can do investigation checks, so on and so forth. And I guess that's kind of about does it. What's going to end up, I think, happening here is the next video will come out in a couple of weeks, and we'll probably do a bit longer form, about an hour, and we'll actually work through the scenes, we'll save it, and then we'll come back to it at a later video. And don't get too attached to what's happening here. We're going to start this campaign over again once the next video comes out, and we'll work our way through these 2 scenes, and then I have an actual one-shot 7-scene campaign that we will run through the entirety of as probably a 10-video series or so. And if you have any suggestions on maybe what you'd like to see, things that can improve, especially around production quality, I know that this probably isn't going to be a super well-made video, but I am open to suggestions, and yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.